All right, September 3rd, workout breakdown, cardio or interval day. I had somebody ask last time we did this, why is cardio day on interval day? It's just how it falls. I don't do it on purpose. Like, it's just, again, it's just, there's a lot of restrictions when building out the calendar for, a month ahead. You got to take everything into consideration, the monthly emphasis, the baselines you're trying to tackle, any cycles that are going to be within the month, and then obviously every 5 days, and so on and so forth. There's a lot of other little nuances I also put in there that are based off of me and kind of my opinions and what I think is best for you guys that I'm not going to go over. But there's a lot, and interval day is every 2 weeks, and whatever falls on it falls on it. So you guys can choose cardio day or interval day. It's your choice. If you're doing interval day, I'm not going to go over it really in this video. Just stick with it. Like, keep rolling with it. Again, it being every 2 weeks now, I think people are starting to see the progression a lot quicker, more efficiently, which I love. So keep sticking with it. When it starts getting hard, don't bail. Like, interval day gets harder and harder the longer it lasts, right? You become more and more niche, more and more precise, and your numbers and your thresholds become more and more clear. So that's a good thing. That means you're doing it right. The foot and arch activation, at this point, if you're watching this on September 2nd or September 3rd, we've already done this for a few days. Again, there's just a ton of benefits. The foot and the ankle are the foundation of your entire body, right? You make them stronger, more stable, or more or less unstable. It performs and benefits you on every lift, every jump, every sprint, everything that we do. Obviously, coordination is a huge part of this. Injury risk is a big one. Performance, like, it all goes hand in hand. Sorry, I thought somebody was at my door. But at this point, I think this is day 3. It's September 3rd, so this should be the 3rd day you're doing the foot and arch. Really, what I wanted to say was the monthly emphasis that we had performed 2 months ago, the deep squat mobility. Kind of how this works, if you didn't already know this, is I do kind of like a rotating block. So I'll do 3 days in a row. So September 1st, September 2nd, September 3rd will all be this foot and arch activation. And then September 4th, 5th, and 6th, we'll change it up a little bit and work on something else. And then every 3 days, I'll change up the monthly emphasis and kind of work ourselves around kind of a wheel. But what that means is that, if you do come on the 1st, 2nd, or 3rd, or any other string of 3 days in a row, there's a good chance that you might see the same monthly emphasis 3 consecutive days, which, again, repetition is how you guys get better and how you start to, understand how to do things and how you get your body to understand how to perform certain stuff. So just know that that's how that works. Interval day is interval day. And this is the main reason why I wanted to go over this workout. So this is a potentially 40-minute EMOM. So a little background and transparency on this. I've been in this type of working out for quite some time now. I've done a little bit of everything, but I had a pretty big background in CrossFit in my younger 20s. I did it pretty extensively. And if anybody's ever heard the name of Matt Frazier, he came along and EMOM's been around for, since the beginning of CrossFit. But he came around, fittest person on earth, like 5 times in a row, essentially. He's incredible. He has all sorts of stuff going for him right now. But a 40-minute EMOM was one of his big ways of doing a conditioning piece. Like, he firmly believed it was the best way to become conditioned and get you, in tip-top shape in pretty much all modalities. And like I said, EMOM's been around, just nobody really was doing like 40-minute EMOMs, right? So we've actually done something like this in the past, but I wanted to do it again. I think it just challenges people in so many different ways, and I wanted to go over it because I gave you lots of kind of outs here. So calories road on the first minute, whatever core choice you want to aim with on the second minute. And again, you got to pick something in a rep count that you have the ability to do 8 or 10 times. Calories bite and the ground to shoulder. So there's tons of choices to be made. And if you're watching this video ahead of time, these are choices you guys can make before you even come in. What calorie count you want to aim for, what is something that's realistic that you can actually not only sustain 8 or 10 times, but also have the ability to transition off of 8 or 10 times, right? And I'll go over that in a second. Same concept with the skill, movement, and the core choice, whatever you pick there, along with the rep count associated with it. Calories bike, same as the row. And then again, the ground to shoulder, how much weight do you intend on moving? How quickly do you want to move through it? How fluid is the clean to shoulder actually going to be? Do you want it to be a little bit of a struggle or not? Like, you can go a little bit heavier, do 6 reps. No, it's not going to take you anywhere near a minute, but you're obviously going to be physically fatigued. probably to a greater extent than if you went a little bit lighter and did 8 reps. So lots of little decisions you can make right there. And then kind of the big massive one here is you can choose to do the 8 rounds option, and you get the rest the 5th minute. So it's 40 minutes regardless. Then you got 2 main options. You can either just follow the clock, and it's going to go every minute on the minute for 40 consecutive minutes, and you're not going to do minute 5, and you're just going to be moving for 40 straight minutes, right? Like that's kind of like the gold standard. Like that's what we're aiming for. Or, you're like, all right, that's crazy. Like, I can't do that. Or maybe you want to aim for higher numbers. So another reason to maybe take the second option. And you do 8 rounds, but with the 5th minute. So every 5th minute, you will get a full minute off. And again, you can use that for a couple of purposes. You can use that because you don't think you're conditioned enough to do it nonstop. Or you can use it for like, hey, I'm going to aim for numbers that I think are a little bit aggressive or over expected. And I think that 1 minute rest is going to be pretty much necessary, God knows how many minutes in, right? However many minutes in, eventually you're just going to need it. So those are the 2 options right there. I wanted to give you a little bit of background on the 40-minute EMOM. I absolutely love it. I love EMOMs to death. I always have. I'm same as Matt. I don't think there's anything better than EMOMs. And once you start doing them, you realize not only are they hyper efficient, but the variety you can put into them and just the capacity that goes along with them, and be able to incorporate like aerobic and conditioning type pieces along with, still not that it's here, but you can move some heavy weight as well if the rep count and the movements are structured appropriately. But it's unbeatable. So I hope people look at this and they choose it. Obviously, if you're doing interval day, just don't be tempted to come in over here. Like, stick with your interval day. I know that's tough. I've been there before. We got to miss some pretty cool workouts because you're stuck in interval land. But it is what it is. This will come back around. And if, the feedback is strong enough and people enjoy this type of workout, then obviously I'll be more tempted to bring it back sooner.